Yeah, I don't think I have to do anything here. Yeah, it's live now. Oh wow, that was so. No, actually, that's like I'm setting stuff here. Okay. That's what that is. Boy. Better believe it.
Martin, you sit here.
I'm probably gonna send. Yeah, but you can't confirm the live stream.
Well, I'm going to make sure that I'll be the blocker on the set. I'll be the guard.
Okay.
Is my hand on there right now? Can you see my hand?
Yeah, I can see your hand actually.
Can you see it now?
That's good. Yeah.
You can't see it now?
No.
So you just got to put people know.
But I wish the tripod would be a little bit higher.
Can you loosen this and slide up?
The max.
Look at this.
Like how far it's already out. Get it out more. I'm worried if I go further, it's going to fall out.
Right. So, can I get a CD of this? Okay, cool. Okay, on. Can you hear it, or is it silent?
Huh?
Can everybody hear us talking right now?
Oh,
Live stream.
So I must just know nothing.
Can you hear everything that you're saying?
Hi, welcome to YWAM San Francisco. I'm really glad to have everyone here tonight. My name is Justine, and I work with Because Justice Matters. Yeah, so I'm going to introduce you to Luke Baker. He's going to come and lead us in a time of worship. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So thank you for having me in your city. It's like a heat wave now. Is everyone coming from the South Bay? East Bay? It's hot everywhere except here. Hey, let's all stand.
Yeah.
How cool is it to get to end the week together?
Hi, how are you? I'm just trying to protect the live stream.
You are love. You bring light to the darkness. You always, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Our praise, it's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Oh, you give life, you give life, you are love, you bring life to this darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken.
Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Let's just declare this. Our hearts will cry, these tongues will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these tongues will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these lungs will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Only you. Only you. All the glory, powerless, all the lost and lonely, all the thieves will come confess, know that you are holy, know that you are holy. Oh, sing out, hallelujah, we will cry out, all the hearts who are content, Lord, feel unworthy, all hurt and not left, 'cause you are holy. And all will sing out hallelujah, and we will cry out hallelujah, and all will sing out hallelujah, and we will cry out hallelujah. Shout, go on and scream it from the mountains. Go on and tell it to the masses. He is good. Shout, go on and scream it from the mountains. Go on and tell it to the masses. He is God. Shout, go on and scream it from the mountains. Go on and tell it to the masses. He is God. We will sing, and we will sing out hallelujah. We will cry out hallelujah. We will out hallelujah and shout. We will sing, we will sing out hallelujah. We will cry out hallelujah. We will sing out hallelujah and shout it. Shout. Go on and scream it from the mountains. Go on and tell it to the masses. He is God. And shout it. Go on and scream it from the mountains. Go on and tell it to the masses. He is God. And we will sing out hallelujah. We will cry out hallelujah. We will sing out hallelujah.
God, we get to be here. God, just hearing more about this beautiful ministry that He's going to be sharing with us tonight too. So, God, we just come open, ready to God to speak to us tonight. Jesus' name, amen. Yes, and take a seat. It's my pleasure to introduce. We're actually going to have a video. It's not a person. We're going to have a video which is just outlining what Because Justice Matters does here, just going across the road and down the block. And after that video, Jolene is going to come up and share that ministry. Thank you.
Justice Justice Matters is a ministry to women and girls, working with girls who've been victims of violence and sexual exploitation. We're also working with women who experience isolation, maybe because of poverty or just the fact that they don't have a really strong community around them. And we're doing that in a variety of different ways. One of the things that we do is an outreach, which happens every Monday. And we invite women in, we paint their nails, and we just love on them, and we bless them, and encourage them. And it's really a safe time just to meet with them and just explore if they want to know more about Jesus, if they want safety plans, they want referrals. We're also offering Bible studies and art of the heart and all kinds of things. And a lot of that is also happening at our Women's Center, the Well, which is also located in the Tenderloin, with girls. And that's really a natural extension of our Heart for Women. We're offering dance classes for girls between the ages of 2 and 14 years old. And it's such an amazing time of seeing girls come in and just enjoy dance and get to experience that art, but also really get to be mentored and poured into, and for us to be able to call out that leadership gift in them and see them thrive.
It's been an amazing experience. I volunteered every Monday during Nail Day, and it's kind of hesitant at first, but I loved it. I loved every moment of it. It was a challenge. YWAM has really given me a different aspect of God's love. They have really called out who I am, really built me up in a way that I've never been able to experience at any other place. And I just love being a part of YWAM and the community. The staff, the volunteers, the women, the children, the families, I love being a part of that.
Being with BJM is such a privilege. I'm so grateful to be part of a ministry that understands that everything is about relationship. Any woman looking for love, any woman looking for a relationship, any woman looking for a place to be safe and cared about, the door is always open.
One of the things that I really love about Because Justice Matters is the way that volunteers and donors and people all kind of share the same dream of empowering and lifting women up. And there are so many ways for people to get involved. There are opportunities for people to come and give their time. But if you can't come, there are ways that you can give your time from home or from a distance. There are ways for you to maybe give the resources that God has given you. And I would just really ask and challenge people to think about, what do you have in your hand? What do you have that you could give to the women and girls of San Francisco that could make a huge difference in their life?
Being a volunteer with BJM has been a joy and has been really enriching to me as I've been consistently for the last month. Transformation in women, a bunch of women who are really isolated and kind of fighting for themselves 6 months ago, and now they're friends.
I totally enjoy being a BJM volunteer. When you come to BJM, you have the opportunity to experience a part of the city that many people don't touch it. To touch it in a real and beautiful way. Mi nombre es Karina. Yo vengo a este programa para darle la oportunidad a mi niña de que crezca y conozca otras culturas. A ella le gusta el ballet y este programa está abierto para todos los niños, para todas las mamás que quieran acompañarlos a compartir este lindo aprendizaje y que ellos puedan crecer sanamente, ¿verdad?
So if you've been thinking about getting involved in making a difference with women and girls here in San Francisco, I invite you to get involved. Now is the time, and join us in saying, I am BJM.
I am BJM.
I am BJM.
I am. BJM.
BJM.
It's been BJM.
I am BJM.
I am BJM.
I am BJM.
Me not BJM.
I am BJM.
저는 BJM입니다. Not BJM. I am BJM.
I am BJM.
You got it, girl.
I am BJM.
I am Jolene Harris.
I'm from Zimbabwe and I am BJM. I've been on staff here with YWAM San Francisco and BJM for the last, and it's an incredible privilege to be a part of what God is doing through YWAM San Francisco and BJM right here in the Tenderloin. You're sitting in the YWAM base here, and just half a block up the street is the BJM ministry space, which is called The Well. Tonight, I want to share with you ways that you can get involved with BJM. There's 4 main ways. The first one would be advocacy. If you are part of a community that you're really wanting to stir up and ignite into getting involved in this city, I call you an advocate. If you see yourself in a local community, but doing it within your church as well, we need you to want to come and do prayer walks in the Tenderloin. You might ministry in the Tenderloin, but just developing leadership skills that they can take into they're in. Not be able to do it, but you might know somebody that has the summer off and wants to use their summer for a little more than just living and drinking lemonade. Lastly, if you have heard all of these things and you're like, you know what, I don't see myself in any of those roles. I'm not sure that I can bake cookies. I'm not sure that I can face paint. I'm good at cleaning toilets. Well, we have a well that we would love to open up to you, and you can come and clean and pray for the women and girls that come through those doors, or did at maintenance. This isn't just for guys, girls as well, maybe. But guys, you are so welcome to get involved as well. Yeah. But maybe you're good at maintenance. Ongoing things that need to be looked at and fixed. And so many other things. So if tonight you're sitting here going, you know what, God's given me a gift, and I just hear it up there for me to be involved in BJM, well then come and speak to us afterwards. And there's a place for you. If you don't get the chance to come to the table afterwards, feel free to check out our website, because Justice Matters. YWAM.org. Email us, call us. We would love to chat to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jolene. Wasn't that a great video? Yeah. That was so good. I was so moved. Beautiful. So we're really excited that you guys are here today. My name is Tanita. I'm on staff here. And before we jump in with our discussions, I know we're all excited. I just want to have a bit of fun, because I believe God is fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a book giveaway, which everybody loves a book giveaway, let's be honest. So Nancy Ortberg has graciously blessed us with some books. So I have two wonderful volunteers. I have Chops and then Savannah. Where are my volunteers? Give them a round of applause. Give them a round of applause. Those books are heavy. Good. Okay. So the way we're going to do this, I want to get you guys involved. I want to get you guys excited. So I need a little bit of energy. Are you guys excited? Yeah. That was good. I'm not going to lie. That was very good. But could it be better? Yes. Yeah. Could be better. So let's try again. You guys excited? Okay, great. So we have 4 questions, a little bit tricky. So straight to you guys, because these are good books. I don't want to just be throwing them away. The first question is, according to a survey in 2011, how many churches, mainline, evangelical, every time church, and how many churches are in the city and county of the San Francisco Bay Area? So unless you know exactly, that would be amazing. But we're going to ask a few people, and then whoever gets the closest will get the book. Okay. Wrong place. Okay. So who wants to have a try? An answer. How many churches in the San Francisco city? I've got 500 over here. Anybody, lady in the red? Anybody else over in the back there? 5,000? Okay, we've got 5,000, lady in the back there. Can I get one more option? Is it? I'm so sorry, sir. Next question. Don't worry, I got you. 3,500? Okay, our survey says 501. So, Jane Williams, yeah? Good job. Okay, moving on swiftly. According to a TBC, how many cities are in the 11 counties? Bay Area. 267. Man in the back there. Can I get another option? Anybody? Come on, guys. You have a lot of energy. Don't be afraid. Step out. 118 for the lady and the queen there. Go for it. Don't be afraid. Okay, so you said 266. What was yours again, sir? 267. The answer is 256. So I'm afraid it's like a round of applause. Okay, third question. Outside of this door right here, we live in a street called Ellis Street. There is, however, a second name. There is a second name for this street. First person to answer gets a book. Absolutely fantastic. Give her a round of applause. Reverend Cecil Williams Way. But I will give you that. Be gracious. All right. The last one. Well, this again. Yeah, discovered. Hang on with this question. Okay, this man here. Okay, just here. I mean, that would be amazing. But can I just get? That's one option. 1849 to the lady in the navy cardigan, which is very nice. Say again. Come. I'm going to have to go. Yes, one. 1780. The answer is. Drum roll. Can I get it? The answer is. My phone is on. 1769. So it was you. Was it? Yeah. We got like, oh, you were 77. Yeah, go for it. Okay, so give him the book, give him the last book, round of applause. Yeah, this gentleman over here. So I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, well, that's sad. We just had a book giveaway. I didn't get a chance. Those questions were too hard. I think she was biased to the people she asked. So we have one more option for you to get it. So these books, we've got a few books from Eric McMahon, one of Nancy's books, YWAM books. So look underneath your chair. Underneath your chair, we have 8 strategically placed, let's be honest, randomly placed flyers that will say making of a leader. If you have one of those, put them up in the air, shake them like you just don't care. Let's see if we get the 8 there. We've got 1, we've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyone else? Okay, go ahead and give those books a round of applause for looking under their chairs. Okay, keep your hands raised high. Okay, so again, while they're giving them out, even if you're disappointed again, you think, that was biased. Opportunities. You at the back of the room here in exchange for money. And Megan in the back there is to assist you with that. Thank you guys for being in sports. Have a good night.
All right, we love to meet you. All right, it's great to be here with you. I'm the director, along with my wife, of YWAM San Francisco, and the coordinator for three special guests that I'd like to introduce to you, who are going to come up, and they're going to lead us in a time of questions and answers. So our first one I'd like to introduce. It's a real pleasure to have Nancy with us tonight. Round of applause for that. Nancy is the CEO of Transform the Bay with Christ. Bay with Christ is a movement that's taking place, mobilizing Christians from churches, businesses, and from companies, particularly their neighborhoods, their context of the gospel. I have personally interacted with things that are very contextual to the hyper-diverse San Francisco Bay Area. Also the founder of Teamworks 2, school leadership principles, how they can be more effective and run their organization in that manner. So prior to the Bay Area, prior to coming to San Francisco Bay Area, the teaching staff, teachers, all night, authors that you've got. One of the interesting she wrote is called Ruthie is of Justice Matters, which is Ruth for 17 years. So she has led a lot of the work here in this building. She's one of our main leaders in our training department. An incredible apostolic voice as the mission. My wife and I moved here to San Francisco many years, and my wife and I personally have leaned into Ruthie over the years to give the wisdom and the experience and the prophetic and apostolic voice that she has. When Ruthie speaks, I listen. And I mean that very, very sincerely. She's been a wonderful blessing to our leadership team here in YWAM San Francisco Bay Area. A woman that's constantly motivating us to bigger, greater, deeper and richer things as we see. So let's welcome her again. And our moderator for the evening is John Talbert. John Talbert is for the organization Transform the Bay with Christ. Very passionate about networking across the San Francisco. I think this is your 25th time to San Francisco in this week. He's moving across all the 256 cities of the San Francisco Bay Area. He's meeting with pastors. Transform the Bay with Christ has three focuses: amplify and multiply. Amplify means that John's passion is really promoting ministries, churches that are impacting their context and bragging about them across the San Francisco Bay Area. Unify is about bringing the body of Christ together, whether they're pastors or business leaders or companies, and getting them to be strategic and collaborate together for. And multiply is about seeing a church planting movement that would sweep across the San Francisco Bay Area. John's a networker. Before he joined TBC, he's been a motivational speaker, a comedian, and has inspired many, many young people. He was the founder of an organization, many of you probably have heard of it, called Beautiful Day, which is an organization that really motivated churches to come together and serve. His mission statement is, I help people unleash compassion to change the world. John, it's a real privilege to have you. You've been a blessing as I've gotten to get to know you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Those were the longest introductions ever. I don't know why I'm sitting over here. So bachelorette number one. How old is Tim Svoboda? Can I sit closer? Is that okay? Or,
yeah.
All right. I just feel awkwardly isolated, which I normally do. Welcome. My name is John Talbert. As Tim has talked too much about me, so you know a ton about me with me and Nancy. We're going to take some time, but I think the very first thing we want to do not doing this when the Warriors are playing basketball. I mean, you know that God is moving amongst the Warriors and YWAM when Tim's planned something so far in advance. And I think, oh, the Warriors. And it didn't. Are there any Warrior fans here? Do you guys watch Warriors? I'm talking about the Warriors now. All right. Oh, there's a Cavs fan here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It'll be over soon in 3 more weeks. Well, we're super excited that you guys are here. What we really want to do tonight is take the time, the making of a leader. And I'll start with questions, but I want to make sure it's open to you, for you to be able to get information and ask the questions that you want to ask. I hope it doesn't turn into any sort of rally. We don't want that to happen. But we would like to just get into your questions. That was another joke, it just didn't land. But
only a joke if it's funny. Joke.
Well, it was funny to be on that one kid over there, the Cavs fan. So it's exciting to be here, and we really want to honor you guys and allow you to walk away. We recognize that leadership, it happens on so many different contexts, and for you to gather information, nuggets, pieces of wisdom that you contextualize in your environment and walk away with something that you didn't have before. So that's our hope for tonight. So I'm just going to jump into it. When we talk about leadership, what do we mean? Give us, and I'll start with you, Nancy, give us your definition. What do you mean by leadership?
So it's actually not even my definition. I've probably been a student of leadership for about 30 years. 3 years ago, I met with a man at our church, and we were talking about leadership, and he just rattled off this definition, and I said, oh my, I need you to say that again. And I wrote, and he said this: leadership is about creating a way for people to contribute ordinary. It's about creating a way to contribute to extraordinary. In that definition, it's not about somebody being in charge, having all the answers, and then dictating to other people, because that steps on dignity of human beings. It's a very collaborative definition. My imagination too is I walked away thinking that's exactly what the disciples really the role of a leader is to convene people, a student of them, understand what their gifts and passions are. An orchestra leader to play with the belief that something eventually happen isn't well.
What did you say first?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, okay. I totally am with Nancy. Just the whole idea of using influence to empower people, and that's leadership is about, which really what Nancy's saying is like really calling out people's gifts and making space for them to really, it's often about leadership. It tends to be all about that person and all about what you accomplish, but I really think local leadership through that lens is really about empowering other people and saying, what can you do and how really about not hoarding power, not saying let's build my kingdom, but let's build something together collaboratively, like Nancy was saying, and giving that power in and making space and stepping aside and making that possible.
Involves, it's risky, right?
Yeah.
So you begin to give power away, but you want to begin to look at the character qualities of people. I mean, how do you begin to measure that as a leader? Because your exponential growth as a leader is you have people and good leaders following you. How do you earn that trust?
You know, I think giving power as a leader. I mean, and that with least control. I want to invite other people to lead and other people to use their gifts, and so that's attention, and maybe we'll talk more about that. But you know, it's looking for people that are really exemplifying leadership. You know, that are showing that they value people and they have the integrity and the courage and really calling those things out through relationship, I think.
So you mentioned something, characteristics of leadership. So let's unpack that a little bit. Nancy, when you're looking at leaders I'm not going to mention it, but looking at what are the or the qualities you want to foster in that leader?
You always want to be setting core values. The top things I look for, the first is initiative. Stupid idea, and I believe there are such things. But somebody who's ready to try and do something all day long. Somebody who's motivated. Most of really a follower of Christ. That sounds great. That is lifelong to take your last breath. And it requires enormous amounts of vulnerability, actually towards freedom. But you've got to be, if you're going to be a great leader, you're going to have to be.
So vulnerability
and humility.
And that seems in those are you just don't see. But how does that play into? It seems like people can take advantage of you. People can exploit when you are vulnerable. How does that play into leadership?
Yeah, how many of you have seen Brene Brown's first TED Talk? Let's all just watch it every Monday for the rest of our lives, okay? She just talks about it really of vulnerability. Spoke at an event 2 weeks ago for leaders to step into the power that they have. They need to bring authority and vulnerability. You think, oh my gosh, that's what Jesus did. In fact, the more vulnerable you are and the more comfortable in your own skin you are about the things you're vulnerable about, the mistakes you make, the things you're not good at, you then actually empower other people to step into those places like a vacuum. So the vulnerability and humility actually engage
God, right? I mean, it's the whole idea that what we think is powerful, what we think about as authority, looks like how it looks in the world. Like so many times, I think have it together and be perfect. When really, I think this is what the kingdom of God is being genuine, and so often we wanna hide behind that perfectionism. We wanna hide behind being complete because insecurity and shame, and I think leadership, like you were saying, kind of taps in. This is who I really am, and if you all in the same club,
You really have two choices as a leader, and a lot of people like that. But what is you can have people admire you, and you will never change them. You will never be part of their transformation. Close to people when they can get up close and see cracks. So I remember dating just about 3 months, the first 3 months. Every time we go out, I'm dressed up. My children need something new. She's like, so about 3 months are into the dating relationship, but we were only going out about once a week, and I'm thinking, okay, tonight, how about if I come over? Okay. And I said, here's what you're going to find when you get here. I've been working all day long with my roommate, tearing down old wallpaper and putting up new wallpaper. Great idea. I'm tore the old wallpaper down. Wouldn't it be funny if I can paint and painting on the wall and then put the new wallpaper? Just the term painting through the new wallpaper, meaning tearing wall. Here's an and I told him that's what you're going to find when you get here.
I just want to affirm
People
you.
that interrupt, people that interrupt get fired.
I'm with Ruthie, we control it.
I'll make this short. But for me, it felt like this is the final moment. I need to know what he's going to think when he opens that door and sees me. 6 months later, he told me, I thought that was really strange. Shower and get all dressed up. I thought, those days are over. That was gone. And to his
yeah.
All right.
It's
Okay,
frustrating.
great. This is good. Oh. I changed the words. When he opened the door, he said something wonderful like, I love every look of you. I love it when you're dressed up. I love it when you look like. I said, saying that. And for me, it was a defining moment to say, can I be vulnerable with you and show you the side of me that I've been really keeping hidden from you for a long time, and will you stay connected? And that's what people are asking for in leadership as well.
So let me talk through some mistakes in leadership, because oftentimes the vulnerability begins to wane sometimes with leaders because a mistake is made. You're trying to self-correct, and you feel like if I don't get control and I lose the vulnerability and I go through authority, this is how it's going to be. Mistake, recurring mistakes, things that you would say, yeah, I've done this before in life. What would you say those are?
Well, I kind of already disclosed mine. I've seen this, and I see this in me. So at the start, we talked about, empowering people and releasing them. Do that, but there's a part of my heart that wants to make every decision and be involved in every task and kind of control even the creativity, because I'm afraid that if things fall apart in my team, that reflects on me. Like, that exposes me that I'm not perfect. Like, that's ridiculous kind of way. That's a huge temptation with leadership when you have power and you have that team around you. It's like to suddenly be putting your finger diving into everything, and I have to consciously kind of course correct, be like, do I need the person making that decision, or can someone else make that decision? Do I need to be being in this meeting, or can I just step back? And I try to, my leadership as I've grown is be intentional about looking for places to step away. And sometimes that's kind of counterintuitive, and there's a tension to that when you're training and you're raising people up. But I'm always looking to kind of release more than I'm looking to hold on. And so living in that tension, I think, is a challenge. But I think especially new leaders, we feel like be in everything and actually trying to release is a better.
Like when you release with the intention that this could fail, or whatever you do, it's not going to kill it, but I need to allow it to fail. We can't like hold our kids everywhere they go and allow them to fall. Yes, you speak to failure a little bit, and how does a leader allow others to fail in such a way that doesn't destroy, but it causes them to grow?
Well, we just had a conversation this morning with our team about an issue that we're working around, that a little bit of a mini crisis, and our board chairman said, this is actually great. Crisis fees are wonderful. You should lean into them. You should learn from them, because they're the best learning opportunities you'll ever have. I'll bet most of you that are older than 25, some of you, have somebody who took a chance on you. There were times when you cringe when you look in the review and you think, oh my gosh, what they put up with. Every one of us has that, or if you haven't yet, you will probably. And I think all God is asking you is to do that with other people, to understand that that's how the gospel works, and that understanding that I don't have to be perfect is where Jesus is most necessary and redemption is most possible. 3 months into this new role in this organization, and I was with my board, and the meeting had been going great until my chairman said, "For the next year." And you know what my CEO answer was? I don't know. Oh my gosh, what a horrible moment. And my board chair just smiled and said, well, I'm assuming you're going to do better next time I ask you that question. So, okay. So sizing the failure, being a non-anxious, that's the most important thing a leader can bring to an organization. Well, that means I have to be growing all the time. What was the number one command in the Bible? You're not. Why? Because we are a bundle of anxiety. Now, it looks different in everybody. For some of you, it looks like the nervous energy that we all see as anxiousness. Control is a form of anxiety. The need for too much adventure all the time is a form of anxiety. Like identifying what that is and going on a journey with God to say, all along my journey, can you start releasing me from that fear? So what I can offer somebody is curiosity. Instead of shaming them, tell me why. What are you thinking? What would you do? I had a mentor when I was 19, and it took me years to realize that when he asked me this question, I had made a mistake. He would say to me, if you had this to do all over again, what would you do differently? I was like,
Which means you screwed that one up.
exactly. But it took me years before I knew it.
But you said something real key in the middle there, which is that non-anxious presence, where you're, as a leader, sitting with people, or even your organization. There are decisions that kill it, but oftentimes, 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's just making decisions along the way and saying, how do I not allow this to kill me, the organization, everything? Because if the leader's stressed, doesn't that just
emotions are contagious.
Yeah.
If you want to read more about this, there's a book called The Failure of Nerve. Failure of Nerve. And it is about leadership and family systems, and it's about being a non-anxious person.
Okay, I want to make sure we get questions. So if there's questions that you have, please toss them out. Just raise your hand and yeah. And if you have any answers, that would be great too. We'll take what you got. Anything you got so far?
Go to Tim's bookshelf or just take books off your shelf and give those away.
Some weird books Cindy has. Any questions yet? Anyone has? Yeah, right here. Go ahead.
The first time I ever interviewed Ruthie, when I heard her talk about her ministry to Muslim women and English as a first language, I was just like, oh my gosh, I felt worthy to be up here with you.
That's a very kind way of handing that over to me, Nancy. How do I stay motivated? Was that what you were asking? Yeah. Well, number one, let me just say it is terrifying to do something by yourself, whether it's to start a ministry or nonprofit or a business. And so if that's you, if that's anyone in this room, I've been there, and it is a scary road. I think staying motivated, staying connected to why you really got started. I mean, for me, we're kind of jumping around, but for me, I grew up in England. I grew up in a small village, and I had a very clear call to the inner city. And I came out here, moved out here short term initially, and I stayed long term, and ended up doing a whole ton of things I never planned on doing. And I got a little bit lost, and I did get a little bit unmotivated in that because I lost sight of what got me here. And what got me here were the people outside the window right there. That had so much potential and destiny, and I wanted to be involved. And I kind of got dragged to a different thing. It was a season of my life, and maybe we'll talk about that later, where I really had to come back to that. So I think staying connected. Why are you doing it? Like, what is it? What's driving that dream? And I think that's hard to do when you're alone and you're just hustling. You're just hard to make it happen. Is building, I think, rhythm of life that keep you connected really matters. And I didn't do that for many years, and I almost just burned out and just went off course. And I've had to make some adjustments in my life. So I think having those key rhythms that say, why do I get up in the morning? Is it to answer a million emails? No. Is it to have one interaction with a person on the street? Absolutely.
There's two things that I saw that came out of this. One, passion. And passion is what drives your vision. And it becomes contagious for the organization. The other part I have to say, or I'll forget it, which is rhythm and balance. I want to get to that in a minute, because that's super important. Because the passion can take you and drive you forward to where, if I'm drawn to it and I've got a vision for something, and just saying that I see these people, that draws me to it, and it reconnects you as to why you do what you do. Nancy, speak to passion a little bit and vision.
Well, passion is just so much about the energy, and when you can start the energy in yourself and drawing on the energy among other people, that's when you start creating momentum. It's so important because it's our north on the compass. And you have to constantly think as a leader, how do I remind myself of why I'm doing what we're doing? And I think for you and I, John, when we drove up to Santa Rosa last week, and there's a pastor up there who said, gosh, I've heard I'm up here, and so John started sharing the vision with me. Just a couple of days later, he said, I invite some other pastors. Sure. You walk into a room, there's all hungry to say, what's possible up here? What's possible if we come together and just what he's seen somewhere else? Vision, it's not everything, but it's primary. And keeping yourself reminded of why you do what you do, the why is so important.
Like, just to add, and maybe this also speaks to the balance and rhythm thing too, but just in this last week, I'd had a pretty stressful week and was kind of getting distracted in a lot of things. And I just took a Wednesday mental health day and I went to the beach with my boys. And I had two boys, 6 and 2, and they're just playing in the sand. And I just sat there and I literally had this moment where I was like, hey, why do I do what I do? And I just anchored myself in that again. I had to pull back from everything else, just regularly. Why do I do what I do? What is it all about? What do I need to cut away me and causing me to be not motivated? Because sometimes we add more to our schedule and it just sucks that passion away. And so I think being sharp, being focused, knowing why you do what you do, keeping that in front of you, whether it's taped onto your mirror, whether it's a partner that speaks it into your life, however you need to do, keeping it in front of you, because it'll just be sucked away otherwise.
And I think there's a myth that as a leader or as an entrepreneur of your own business, that every day you're just fueled by your vision. I think it's more like taking a hit on oxygen when you need it, and then you run back into the fire, and you have these ordinary days and we'll talk about the ministry of monotony. You know, most of us that are leaders are visionaries because we're moving towards something. It's wonderful. But look at Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, mostly the ministry of monotony. Valuable to God in the economy of the kingdom, as the vision is. Honestly, the vision's the easy part. Sitting in a room and imagining a preferred future where everything's perfect, that doesn't take very long to do, okay? That's quick. Then to say, what do I have to do today? And you know, what I have to do today isn't always crystal clear, right? I would say, sometimes I look at my calendar and I think, I'm not sure any of the meetings I had today were the right ones. Maybe tomorrow I'll be better at that, but it's that one foot in front of the other, that perseverance of a leader coupled with the vision that is really nonstop.
I want to talk about rhythms for a second and recognizing that as a leader, and you guys, you're in this room because you're in a leadership role on some level. And as a leader, you're constantly bombarded with requests for your time, emails, which is this constant deleted everything and just start it all over. Because there's just all those deleted, you know, all those emails and then but emails and then social media, all the things that are pressuring you. So I'll start with you, Ruthie. Your morning, when you wake up, that cares for your soul or cares for the body as you may work out, or whatever you do, your rhythm in the morning before you work. What is your morning rhythm?
I don't know if you want to know my morning rhythm. Because I have 2 young children. Let me speak to this because there are different seasons for different people. My mornings are like crazy. They're chaotic. So for me, a rhythm of self-care and, you know, keeping vision in front of me and doing the things to care for myself, it doesn't happen in the morning because I have like a 2-year-old that's climbing on me at 6 in the morning. I'm making oatmeal, I'm changing a diaper. Like, it's just kind of craziness. So it didn't used to be that way though. When I was single or when I was gonna have kids, I was, you know, I did the whole like,
You're pretty fancy.
I was like, this person you know. I did the whole candle in the mornings with a cup of tea and my Bible open for like an hour. I don't do that anymore, guys. Like, it's just craziness. So you have to you have to look at the season you're in and know what works for you, but you have to have the rhythms.
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's the reality of that is that's where everybody is. There's
Absolutely.
some sort of disruptive thing.
Yeah.
Called children or whatever that come into your life where you're like, okay, this is a season or a time in my life where but you still have to as a leader.
You do.
Say these are the things that I move forward in.
Yeah, and I think you have to not feel guilty, like as your seasons change, like there's a temptation, there was for me anyway, to feel like I had to maintain what I did before in this new season. And I think we just have to be so sensitive to the Spirit, sensitive to our season, and just be like, what is possible now? What helped me now? What helped me then wouldn't help me now. And so I've had to work those things out. So whether that's just like, I keep Saturdays. For me, Saturdays is like the days set aside for my family on Saturdays, unless it's like the beach or wine tasting, kind of refueling day. How I choose to spend my evenings, like things like that. I've had to build those rhythms into different places.
Tim, wine is for refueling. I just that's what I meant.
And I need juice.
Only on Saturdays.
I mean, grape juice.
Grape juice, sorry.
I think that also takes us back to self-awareness, because what Ruthie is saying is she's asking herself the question to discern in this season, what are the right rhythms for me, and changing them. You know, I grew up in a church that taught this quiet time thing, and you know, it was the only way to meet God. It was the best way to meet God. It had to be in the morning. I have no idea where that came from. It had to be 45 minutes for an end. So you had to adore, confess, thanksgiving, and supplicate. So it spelled the word acts, and I would always think, oh, did I confess? Did I supplicate? I forget what order it goes in. Did it in the morning? People know that this morning. It was just, and again, don't hear what I'm not saying. It's a practice that has value. Practice that you would do every day for your primary connection to God without ever changing it is wholly inadequate to the relationship. So opening up the practices to all the different ways in which you experience God. Let's go with a pedicure, seriously, a spiritual experience. Seriously.
I'm down for that.
There are, you know, all of life is spiritual formation. With God in really authentic, natural ways in my life. And what are the ways that me in one of those rhythms for that season.
Okay, I want to get to questions because I want to use our time. Right here in the back, yes.
Hi, I have a very simple comment to make. Talking about, and it's so funny. It's a little analogy. We're old enough to remember Star Trek and Captain Kirk. He was a leader of a spaceship, and every once in a while, the spaceship would enter void, and he would respond to this empty part of space by saying, all stop, and shutting the whole ship down, and taking time to, what I interpret to be, get some hope and ignite the faith in God. Okay, people with some hope, and then look for solutions and deepen faith. And so what you say about leaders, and what you said in particular about quiet time, soaking in God.
About what you're saying is even going to sleep at night is an act of faith. It's not something you wake up one day and it's fixed. That's a constant struggle.
That's irrelevant, Captain. Sorry, Star Wars.
Beam me up.
All right, go ahead. Question right here, yes. Thank you for your question, yes. That's a great, so the delegate, eliminate, and anything else, what would you say?
A couple of things I would say to that. I think knowing what your vision is helps decide your yeses and your nos. So for me recently, just a real practical example, I've kind of been a little bit more trying to figure out, okay, what do I say yes and no to, and emails, and where do I give my time? And so I sat down with someone, I was like, what is like my mission? What do I care about? For me, it's women. And so I'm going to give time and say, I want to start ministry with women. I want to start working with women. How do you do that? Because that's where my heart is. I may not give time to someone that wanting ministry because it's kind of not within where I'm putting my focus, knowing your season. You know, I used to say yes to a whole lot more things, and I had to really look at my life and pull back. And again, for me, it was related to my priority. Where does my time need to be? What are my yeses? And you know, we heard someone say that your no protects your yes. That way, it's not a no, like a negative, like no, but it's like I'm saying yes to this, so I can't say no to that.
I just think as a leader too, you would have people around you. So many things that seem like, or it's a personal leadership bucket list that isn't part of the core value of what you're doing. As a leader, and it seems that you both have that people around you.
Will remind you what the value is of saying no, how much more sane and enjoyable my life is when I use that one syllable word. And again, as seasons in your 20s, I sure spent a lot more time saying yes to way too much. Because I was trying to figure out who I was, how comfortable I am in my nose. And honestly, as a leader, your choices in your nose are not between a good thing and a bad thing. They're almost always between a good thing and a great thing, and something that's off focus for what you're doing. The bottom line is, Kierkegaard used to talk about the despair of infinity. You're paralyzed when you say yes to everything. And it's a disease we have. I tell God all the time, this is all your fault that I say yes to too many things. You created us for a perfect world and all these wonderful options, and I live in a broken world. So let's just be clear, this is your fault. Try to only say yes to the things that are mine. What is mine to do? and that I joyfully release the rest of the problems of the world to the rest of you and help somebody say yes.
One thing too, I think in line with that, like it was struggling to say no, to really step back and ask ourselves why. Why is it so hard? What's working for me with saying yes, or what am I? That is really, I've had to go on that journey a lot. It's insightful to look at what am I getting from this? Like, am I feeling wanted? Am I needed? A big thing that I think comes up, and I get this opportunity again. Let this one go past, then will it come back around? And that's a really scary test of leadership, I think, of being able to put your hand and say, you know what, Lord, you're going to bring this back around.
Or if you don't, I'll be fine.
All right, question here. It's very Captain Kierkegaard. Yes, go ahead, right here. Servant leadership. When you think of servant leadership, we'll get the spirit-led in moments. Servant leadership. What kind of character qualities, or what have you learned in your journey that has caused you to go, I need to refocus the servant part, or I need to find the leadership aspect?
I think it's part of why I love so much the definition of leadership that I shared with you. It means to be a servant leader is to be the student of the other. That's how are you wired? What's your story? How would you contribute? Instead of my vision, what I want to have happen, I start to look at who are the people that God sent me. Them and understand them. I want to understand their gifts and their wiring. So that's a primary focus for me.
Search of leadership. Let's ask like logical sense to you and everybody else, and then you get this prompting from God. Okay.
You know, I think, oh man, I just lean into that so much. I think there are, like you were saying, there's so many logical, rational ways to go about doing things, and then there is that, or that, even that sense that kind of like, you know what, I feel like we're supposed to go in a different direction. In the Women's Center down the street, we had kind of two sides to our space, and one side we were just going to leave it open for a community room and open space. And one day I was writing the Muni. What God speaks to me on the Muni all the time. I love being in the city because we get to practice like being in God's presence in the craziest environments. And I'm all for like finding God in the city and listening to Him here. And I was writing the Muni, and one day a girl in a tutu doing ballet, and it was just like nowhere. It made kind of no rational have a ministry of kids. I said to my team, how about a dance studio? And it was like, it resonated. So I think that's a huge part of the guidance of the Spirit, and taking a step of faith, because it so often doesn't look logical. It seems scary, but the more that we do it in the small ways, the more we get used to that sense of like, okay, this is the Spirit of God leading me.
I'd like to say something to that as well. For me, it's posture. I start in the morning, and it's on my knees, and it's my hands out. And there's this beginning of my day, because I'm working in real time, and I'm like, yeah, God, I need your Spirit, whatever you have for this day. I'm going to trust. If it's important to you, you're going to either tell me through someone, you need the mind and the ears.
Humility to that, because what I've seen happen often is people take that. Maybe it was the breathing. I mean, how do we really know all the time? We don't. And so sometimes to hold it open-handedly, and what I say is place it on the altar of community. Time, breathe sometimes.
Then it's like buy-in, because it's not just like, hey guys, this is what God said and we're going to do. Hey, this is what I'm sensing. What do you guys think? Like, would you tap into all your gifts and Spirit-led, and let's come together and work this out together.
Or they say it was a bad movie.
Yeah, they say that sucks.
All right, other question. Yes, back here. We're in the very, very back. Yes. Yeah, so leadership early on in somebody's journey, somebody that's maybe either come to faith or they're in their own life. When does leadership either start or develop those pieces?
Well, I would say that leadership starts immediately, leading your own life. And that, I think, is key for all of us, but especially someone that's kind of aspiring to lead others. We need to lead ourselves well. And I would start there in much the same way that, you know, working with my own children, as young as they are, I'm not necessarily gearing them up to be like, hey, let's go and lead crowds. Like, I'm teaching them right now foundational pieces of leading your life. I'm teaching you self-control. I'm teaching you compassion. I'm teaching you, you know, how to be organized, just basic things like that. And so I think if you're starting from scratch, I would look at ways and talk to people like, how do you want to lead look like for you? And then you can go on and talk about it and what it looks like to lead other people.
Other questions?
Amazing social justice issues like the ballet, like bridging that to Christ. I have a really hard time like seeing that in that are justice. And then the second question is, how do you, going off of that, like how do you sustain having faith that are like transformative? So often you don't. The city, and specifically, I'm from San Jose, so the same poverty but different locations.
How do you move from justice or compassion work to somebody in a Christ-centered faith, spiritual conversation? How do you get from there to there? And the other part of the question is really, I'm blanking on the other part of the question, but the other, let's start with the first one, and then it'll come to me in a second, because
We'll have all forgotten. I think the meta narrative is really important, and it is really important because we don't always get to see it. That sucks, doesn't it? That's hard. I have to release my need to see the end outcome. That anytime you move somebody towards good, you move them towards good. Every time. Every time.
That's tweetable.
So somebody else will have to do it. I don't know how to do it. Anytime you, and all of life is spiritual. That video, holy cow, of that little girl twirling, that's the same as opening up and reading a Bible verse and writing your journal. Never, never, ever doubt. That's spiritual. And you have no idea in the greater narrative of her life. Like, I look back in the rearview mirror of my life, and I had some real tough stuff when I was a kid growing up, and I look at these moments that were 6 seconds and 2 minutes. What happened to my soul in those moments? And I can't even measure it, but they convinced me that there was a God and God was good, and they were a stepping stone in my journey to Christ.
And I feel like, you know, just speaking about personally from Because Justice Matters and that work we do with girls, kind of exactly what Nancy said, and then the privilege of just pointing those moments out. Like, we're with them in those moments, and then we get to be like, you know what? You know why you're so beautiful? Because God created you that way. Oh, let's have a conversation about it. Like, you know, like why you're able to be so creative and that art thing comes out of you. God created you. You want to talk about how God, you know, just pointing those things out, you know, as, yeah.
Yeah, there's an underestimation of beings that are made in the image of God and working and living and trying to walk and live like Christ every day. The narrative comes out often, most often, without words.
And it's so interesting in Matthew 23 or 25, somebody can, when Jesus is asked at the end of the sheep and the goats, all I decide done to the least of these. He does not include, was there an evangelistic moment? There is that. But I think there's something really deep there and what it means to live the gospel.
but it doesn't mean to negate the gospel. I mean, the gospel is the gospel. We live this. This is who we are.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I was going to say that too. There are moments that are more, and there are moments that are more explicit, and you know that.
Know how to honor the dignity of the other and the autonomy of the person, but when there's an open door, this time
or a spirit-led moment.
Yeah, and not underestimating that. I mean, we had a chance to share more tonight that we just put out there of our girls actually sharing what it's meant for them to be part of our dance class. And there's one moment where they say, you know, we basically asking them about leadership because that's a core component of what we do. And they're like, you know, it's just like those women in the Bible. They just get to be brave living in the tenderloin. Right there. Like, that is the gospel right there. Like, brave because Jesus is in you. And so it's just like those beautiful moments. But, you know, we don't necessarily explicitly teach all the time. Like, they're just getting it. And they'll say stuff to, like, we just pray for you. And like healings will happen, and it's just like it's kind of home. So I think when you create an environment and a culture that is kingdom, and that is, you know, there's things like the arts and compassion for one another. Those are all aspects of the kingdom. When you create a space for that, sometimes there's the explicit gospel too, but sometimes, you know, the Holy Spirit has this way of just showing up and doing His thing.
Do you feel like when you listen to Ruthie, you're watching Harry Potter? It's just so awesome.
Every time.
I know. Every time I'm like, I don't even know what she's saying, but I feel like it's so awesome. Hey, we're going to take a couple more questions, then I got a flash round of some questions I'm going to ask you, kind of one-word answer type thing. So, a question right back here, yes.
Practical question. You guys speak a little bit about being vulnerable and open, but also and kind of. Yeah, that level of cold and distant separation.
Cold distance. Go.
I'll let you take this one, Nancy.
Yes.
So I had a leadership mentor one time, and I called him up about something, and he listened, and then he finally said, "The leaders are only right 50% of the time." I said, "No, Max, I didn't know that. And where was this information 20 years ago? Because I've been shooting for 90%. Like, the pressure I feel to get everything right all the time is ridiculous. So you do the best you can. You try to ask in the moment, vulnerable right now, or do I need to say, no, this is what's going to happen? And I may get it only partly right, but it's good enough to move forward. I don't mean to say don't overthink it, but release yourself from the word balance. It's like a tight wiring. Everything's all precarious. It's like I think I've been authentic, open, and vulnerable quite a bit. I have to say right now, I'm going to make the leadership call, and this is what we're going to do. And I know that doesn't one of those decisions. And you build a culture where most of the time you're authentic, open, vulnerable, and collaborative. And a couple times a year, you throw we're too confused or we're on a timeline. I have to make the call.
Right. Quick question round. Just leadership book that you've read that's been most impactful, and you can't say the Bible. We'll just assume that one's the top. So, second greatest leadership book this last year that you would say this has had a profound impact on my life.
I have one that I really love, a big chunk because it's written by a woman. Called Strengthening the Soul of Your Leadership by Ruth Haley Barton. It's just so good. It's so good because it really just addresses soul stuff and not just like how to do and how to be like leadery, but who are you? You know, who are you as a leader, and really starting there.
Failure of nerve. And again, it's not a Christian book. It was a Jewish rabbi who passed away a few years ago. But it is so profound in its spirituality of non-anxious presence.
I thought you were 16 that.
You know, I almost did. Isn't that amazing? I almost said that, and then I didn't. They haven't.
Okay. Modern day leader that you most admire, and why?
Can it be not modern day?
No, it has to be modern day.
Oh, shoot. No, here's the deal. Just because it doesn't answer it, do what you want, girl.
Both of them have control issues.
I'm not going to go with a modern day one, but you know, one that has stayed with me since I was a child, and a lot of you probably won't know who she is, but Gladys Aylward. She's British.
Wait, Glenn,
that's
we're
part-
in the fix? No, different class. Sorry, go ahead.
She was a missionary to China, I think it was. I watched her, like a video of her when I was a child. With me was she did the most ridiculous, courageous things as a single woman in a foreign land, and today.
First thing that came into my mind while Ruthie was talking was a meeting you and I went to, and we're in East Palo Alto. We're meeting with an African American pastor who's been there for 20 plus years, so you can imagine the challenges. To that area, he and his wife and their 4 children live in a rented, and he's white. And I got to tell you, the whole way home, I just felt humbled. I think leadership is this great thing that gets put on a pedestal and speaks at a conference and leadership at a whole nother level today that doesn't leave my mind. I just keep thinking about what kind of character and perseverance and belief in God does it take to have somebody walk that road?
Last question. Biblical leader that you most resonate with?
Ruth.
I think her name's Ruthie. Yes. Ruthie in the Bible. I just forgot the I here.
Seriously?
Are you serious?
Is
that the best you got us? Because there's no biblical Nancy.
I mean, she's pretty awesome. But you know what? I think I would have to probably go with Joshua, just because of that amount of times that God has to say to him, "Don't be afraid." I feel like that's kind of with like going into a land. Oh my gosh, there's giants and there's battles, and God just comes through. So it's always been it's always stirred my faith. Yeah.
Or Peter. What an idiot. Chapter 4, people were amazed at Peter and John because they were unschooled, ordinary men who had been with Jesus. Wow, the bar is low, and I can get there. Peter for sure.
I'm going to add one. Mine's from Judges chapter 3, verse 31, where you list all the judges, and there's one verse for one guy. And it says, the verse goes like this: After Ehud came Shamgar, son of Anath, who struck down 600 Philistines with an ox goad. Israel. That's all we know. And he is a leader, saved Israel with a pokey stick. Because that's what an ox goad is. They use it to, as oxen are tilling field or carrying a cart, and somebody's poking them with an ox goad. With a stick. He used what was in his hand. And oftentimes we think, what else do I need? I need to have all these things. And this guy was used, he was used by God and mentioned in the Bible with one really cool verse and a really cool name, Shamgar, son of Anath.
I think you made that up and we're all going to go home.
But look,
it's not in here. I was doing it.
I cited it. Yes, so Judges 3:31. And anyway, will you guys thank our panelists here? We'll be here after questions and answers. I want to invite Luke back up for some more worship. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Tim, again.
Yeah, so you're going to help me with the dates. We have 2 events coming. Invite some of you to. The first one is June 30th, and that's a group planting pastors. We're going to go on our website, take a look at. We have 3 church planters that are going to be coming and speaking. And then September 24th is our large event down in San Jose. And actually, before you worship, as another form of worship, I would love to pray for all of you. Whatever's in your lap, let go of it and just put your hands, palms up. And what I love about evenings like this is the Holy Spirit knows what it is you need. Got it from the panel or the worship song or a conversation you're going to have tonight or something on the drive home. God is here for you tonight. So let me pray for you. Father, in this place, so much good work has been going on for so many years to a group of people that are so forgotten. And I ask you tonight as we leave and see the streets full of people that are on the margins that we would pray. In their life, they were the apple of somebody's eye. They were delightful children to their parents. In this broken world, life does not always turn out the way that we would hope, And so I pray for YWAM's ministry, and because justice matters, and city impact, that you would be mighty in this. And then I can only imagine all the different kinds of ministries that are represented by all the. Here's what I know. I know that somewhere when they got started, their hearts were lit. And the fire may be going out right now, and the discouragement may be high. And I just pray that you would really like things with all of us. That we wouldn't insist on it every day, that we would live in the ministry of mountain, great faithfulness and joy. We would also count on you in Christ.
So we'll just stand and we're just going to sing the first song we did earlier. And we love to respond here. We love to hear and then let the Lord kind of what can we respond to what we've heard, or as Nancy just prayed maybe something that stuck out. So just as we sing, just have the faith and the courage to open your hands and say, God, what? Do you have something for me tonight? You are love. You bring light to the darkness. You give hope. You restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. So be so great in our lives. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lives. So we pour out our praise. Lord. You give life. You give life. You are love. You bring light to the darkness. You give hope. You restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. So great is your breath in our lives. So we pour out, we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our